Welcome, Idaho High School counselors. I'm Deb Green, Director of Scholarships at Idaho State University, and I am just wanting to go through a few slides with you guys. We've had some changes to our scholarships for students starting fall 2022. And so I'm just going to quickly share my screen with you so that I can go through these and you guys can see especially our new grid that has been implemented for students starting fall 2022. So real quickly, if you haven't visited our website is listed on the top. It's a very easy checklist for students and parents to go through. They seem to really like it. It's just an easy way for them to check everything off and make sure they've done everything they need to. So get admitted to ISU by our deadline, complete the FAFSA if they're wanting to be considered for need-based scholarships, or of course loans, Pell Grant, work study. They need to complete the FAFSA. Complete the honors application if it's of interest to them and they're eligible. That has the same deadline as us, but they also have a priority deadline. Apply for additional scholarships in the Bengal Online Scholarship System. Apply for the State Board of Education scholarships. The Opportunity Scholarship is a big one. And again, they need the FAFSA completed in order to be considered for that. The deadline for that is March 1st. Apply for outside or external scholarships. So the three with the stars, number 1, 4, and 6, I'm going to kind of elaborate on, but that is just a quick, easy little checklist if you go to our website that students and parents can follow, and they seem to really like that. So number 1, get admitted to ISU. We try to make the process super, super simple at ISU. Get admitted. Our deadlines are February 15 for fall entry, or November 1st for spring entry. They can use Apply Idaho or Apply at each school. There is no admission application fee. Their high school transcripts are needed by those deadlines. The GPA as of February 15 is what their final award will be based off of. And if they want to be considered for our top presidential scholarship, they need to have an ACT or SAT, but they also must have a 3.9 unweighted GPA or greater as of our deadline as well. So as I mentioned, this is our new awarding index for fall 2022. Yes, it has changed again. We hope that it doesn't do that. We hope that we don't have to do that very often, but with COVID in the last couple of years, many of the schools have had to adapt and change. So this is our new awarding index for students coming fall 2022. I cannot promise that that will be the case for spring 2023 forward, but for right now, for students coming fall 2022, this is the case. Get admitted by our deadline, automatically considered for these. As I mentioned, 3.9 GPA or higher, and a 32 ACT composite or 1420 SAT or greater for in order to be considered for the presidential. So both of those have to be met as of our deadline. And then there's the rest of the tiers. Tier 2, 3, 4, and 5 are listed. Those are the unweighted GPAs. And those are the award amounts. All of these are 4-year scholarships as long as they're undergraduates and meet the requirements of that scholarship. When they receive an offer from us, it comes in one of these envelopes. It's super important that if you hear of a student that received one of these or you see one of them, we do not want them to throw these away. So the Something to Remember About envelope does have their scholarship offer and acceptance form. They can now accept, though. There's a cool little QR code that they can scan and accept that way. Takes them to Bengal Web and they can accept through there, or they can accept in the same manner that they have in the past by fax, by email, mail it into us, bring it into us, whatever the case may be. Those have to be back to us by May 1st. If a student's already been offered something and their GPA goes up, or they have a 3.9 or greater GPA and they take the test and their test score goes up, and that puts them into a higher category like the presidential if they have the 3.9 and a 32 ACT or greater or SAT equivalent. They want to make sure that is to ISU by our deadline, and we will increase the award. So we basically lock their award in until the deadline and then revisit if they need to have an increase. The next one I wanted to talk about, like I mentioned, we try to make the process super, super simple at ISU. So get admitted by our deadline, apply in BOSS, apply for external scholarships. So apply in BOSS, but they're going to want to make sure, I think of that 4-year scholarship as a base, and they can add to that. We have a lot of extremely generous donors that give to Idaho State University. Starting January, so January, February, March, April is when we tell students to be super active in BOSS. That's when the majority of scholarships are listed. Go to this website that's listed here. They've got to be admitted. They need to complete the general application. It's just a few questions. They do that each year. that they're here at ISU, but they need to do that in their senior year as well, starting in January. They complete the general application. Some scholarships do not require additional information like essays or letters of reference, so they'll automatically be matched up to some freshman scholarships through that. Or the other thing that we would highly recommend is that they also look at the recommended scholarships, and that's based off of class level, GPA, high school, different factors, and require additional questions or essays that they need to complete. They need to make sure they do those by the deadline. If they read it and they are not eligible, it doesn't know everything about every student, just tell them to skip it. But it tries to just kind of go through the system and say, we think you're eligible for these, please apply. And then they're automatically considered for some, like I mentioned. And then also checking the external section of BOSS. We have a lot listed in there. We can't list everything, but it's a great place for students to go and at least navigate some of those. And finally, outside scholarships. So as I mentioned, State Board of Education would probably get about $3 million that comes in from the State Board for the Opportunity Scholarship. That's a big one that students can receive. There's other scholarships that they send us as well. They need to go to that website by March 1st for the Opportunity Scholarship and apply. Again, deadline March 1st, super critical. And the FAFSA is required for that scholarship. It's a merit need-based scholarship, but I see a lot of students receiving this. It does not take long for them to complete this application, and I'd highly recommend that they do that by March 1st. And as I also mentioned, there's a lot of outside scholarships that we get that come through our office. We have an external link on BOSS, but there's credit unions, parents' place of work. It's pretty endless. We always warn students to watch for scams, not ever pay to apply for a scholarship. They should never do that. And they should never provide their social security number. They just need to be cautious of those things. We are located above the museum building. If you have a student that wants to come and visit us or come do a campus tour, please have them come by and see us. That's what we're here for, is to help them navigate through everything. As I mentioned, we try to make the process super, super simple. Get admitted, apply for BOSS, look for outside scholarships. But we're here to help in any way, shape, or form that a student needs, or a parent that has questions, or if any of you as high school counselors have questions and we can help, please call us. Our phone number is there, our email is there. Financial aid's number is also there, as well as their email. So with that, I will stop sharing my screen, and please reach out to us if you should ever need any help or have any questions. Thanks.